All right, folks, we are back with another Wargaming unboxing here on the channel. Now, this one is a little bit different from the Adeptus Titanicus unboxing I just did, although still wee little men. In this case, it is the new line of 10mm scale Napoleonics from the Wargaming Company. This is a new line of miniatures that they have launched to accompany specifically their set of Napoleonics War Games rules, Et sans résultat, or ESR, as everyone calls it, for, you know, understandable reasons. This is a sort of grand tactical Napoleonics set of rules that I've been a big fan of for the last couple years, despite not yet having gotten a chance to get a game in. And that's mostly due to the fact that I do not have a Napoleonics collection, and I have not had one for some time. So, I looked around at different options for a little while there. I was thinking about doing a 2mm, using irregular metal miniatures, the manufacturer irregular, although the miniatures are also irregular. Um, that's a whole other topic. So, but then when I found out that the Wargaming Company was going to be making these sort of boxes, these starter kits, if you will, I decided to wait until they came out, and I am tremendously excited to finally get a chance to dive in on these new minis. So I went ahead. They have released two different boxes, one French, the other Russian. That's a combo that I am perfectly happy to war game. Um, you know, and if these are any good, as I expect they will be, I'll definitely be picking up at least some Austrians when they come out. But anyway, let's dive in here. So just got the box today, and let's see what we got. So, just go ahead and open it up. My understanding is that essentially each set is going to give me everything I need to get started. All right, a little personalized invoice there. Thank you. And here we go. So we have got the basically these are like two Army Corps in ESR terminology. Of course, the wonderful thing about historicals is that I can scale that up or down depending on what set of rules I'm using. Each base can represent whatever's appropriate. But here we go. Actually shows on the back what I get. So for the Russians, this force pack, that's what they call it. And I really like the new edition. I'll put this aside here. I really like the new edition because they've got some nice, I don't know what you would call it, branding, I guess, or just nomenclature, iconography, right? So, one of the tough things about getting into Napoleonics, if you don't know a whole lot about the period, is it's like, you know, much like World War II, a lot of other like major conflicts, things change over the course of the wars. So you have your early war, your mid, late. So this specifies here that this is an 1808 to 1815 mid-war, late war collection, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so what we get here, you got some nice photos of everything, and something else the new edition does is they use the actual like terminology for these units, but I appreciate the little brackets there just to kind of help you out, especially with Russian. That can be a little challenging at time. Notes here: all miniatures are 1/160 scale, aka 10mm, and unpainted, of course. Manufactured in the good old US of A. And yeah, so it looks like we get approximately 400 pieces. All right, so I'm going to be busy. One force commander with aides de camp, two divisions of infantry, one Cossack brigade, it looks like, Don Cossacks, this is the really cool thing. Flags and bases. Flags. Yes. I love it. Order markers, stat cards. I mean, you get everything you need. Now, if you're a GW player, you might be going like, yeah, of course. But this is so rare in the historical wargaming world. Even today, even in a post Flames of War bolt action world, this is very rare and much appreciated. So I'm pretty hyped. We get their iconic logo on a sticker. This is cool. A little quick reference sheet. Love that. Very cool. And then lots and lots of miniatures as promised. These are the markers. And yeah, got all these little guys. I'll get some out here. Wow, I love the detail. This is really cool. They've got some, looks like Cossack Lancer type guys, you know. My period expertise is showing, I realize. Got some great artillery pieces there. Limbers, wagons, you know, that's one thing about the ESR rules is that, you know, because it's on a grand tactical scale, you have to worry about things like where does your supply wagon chain go, you know, where does the artillery supply wagons go, you know. So here's the commanders. Yeah, very cool. I've got their the Wargaming Company also does these great sort of campaign books that are like very heavily researched in terms of uniform reference, and they have scenarios and stuff. So I've got their 1812 scenario book on the way as well. So once that arrives, probably next week, I'll be able to start, you know, picking out which figures to start painting first, and their uniforms and so forth. So, you know, we've got some nice thick wooden bases. It's fine with me. It's as good as any other. I'll go with it. Got some cards here. This is a true multimedia experience. Yeah, cool. Leader card and the stats cards as promised, and which is very handy because I don't have the Russian stat deck. Not sure if that's even available. I'll have to check. Great. Of additional flags for other divisions available at the wargamingcompany.com. That's cool. So yeah, these are just some nice, you know, they're just printed on paper. Just cut them out, use some white glue, make them flutter on the little banner poles, you know, it's fine. And then just a, you know, again, a manifest. That's the word I'm looking for. Some equivalent parts may be substituted for each other and vary from pack to pack. For instance, RUA 800 and RUA 801. Well, I guess we'll let them slide. Okay, so let's just get one of these strips out here and see what's what. Okay. Remember, kids, to ask your parents before handling any sharp implements while unpacking these boxes. All right. Should I do like a makeup tutorial? There we go. Very nice. Very detailed. I haven't had 10 millimeter figures in a while. I've been mostly focusing on 6s and 28s. But the cool thing about the scale with ESR is that really it's very representational. I mean, it's pretty high level. And so you don't have to worry too much about, like, you know, oh, well, I have these 6 millimeter buildings. They're out of scale with the figures. Well, the figures themselves are out of scale. You know, I think of it almost like, you know, in those old war movies where you'd see the generals like kind of clustered around a table with a map, and they're using their sticks to kind of move the little blocks around on the map. I mean, that's kind of That's the level ESR operates at, you know. So it's like, I'm not too fussed if the figure scale is slightly out from the building scale or the trees. It's all representational, you know. You're going for more of this effect of like these. I mean, you get a core per box, you know, like that's a lot of troops, you know, that you're representing on the table. So I don't even necessarily feel like I have to run out and get a bunch of like 10 millimeter buildings per se, you know. I can just stick with what 6 millimeter buildings I do have that would be appropriate for this period. Okay, before I open that, let's just look here. So again, I mean, it's, you know, yeah, it contains approximately 400 pieces. Very similar, you know, 2 divisions of infantry, 1 brigade of light cavalry, flags and bases, and then, yeah, order markers, stat cards. You know, it's pretty much the same. Looks like we get some sapper companies, which is cool. And we get some light infantry, we get some line infantry, and then yeah, the light cavalry, chasseurs à cheval. Yeah, and this is again 1808 to 1815, mid-war to late war. So that's very cool because again, very interested in picking up some Austrians for the 1809 campaign. So obviously, you know, we've got the same deal here. Let's just kind of look at these cavalries. They're so great. I mean, you know, we've got the little plumes. You know, these are resin printed, obviously, and there's just really good quality, really sharp. I would be a little concerned just because I'm a klutz, both with painting and also just with handling figures on the table. I'd be a little concerned about my fingers jabbing into like one of these plumes or something and snapping it off. So I don't know like how hardy this resin is in terms of that. Knowing everything I've read and heard about these figures and the care and the work that was put into getting them just right, because we've sort of been waiting on these for, you know, a good while, a year, maybe 2. I would be surprised if these are overly fragile, but nevertheless, I'll want to be careful, I think, around these little plumes and bayonets and so forth. But anyway, that is the unboxing for the ESR starter boxes, I guess you could call them. And much like with Adeptus Titanicus, I will make further videos updating my progress as I get around to painting these guys up. Got a few other things in the queue first, of course, but I'm actually pretty stoked. I'm really looking forward to getting into these guys and getting some lovely hordes of Napoleonics once again for my collection after many years not having any. That's all for now.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more content like this.